I thought of an easier way to put up these Gothic arch ribs, and I don't know why I didn't think of it before. But as long as I have the ridge board up already, I can just measure 2 feet on center. Then I can attach the ribs one by one. This is going to be much easier than trying to put them up two at a time. Then I can just copy that all the way down to the end on both sides. Then I had another idea to make the ribs out of OSB or plywood. That the way there wouldn't be any tension on the framing members. This one is going to be 20 feet wide and a little over 17 feet tall. This way you'll be able to put in a loft and you'll have over 8 feet of head clearance on both the first and second floor. I'm going to cut out a 6-inch wide piece of OSB, but you could also use plywood here. In order to get the length I need, I'm going to have to cut it out of multiple 4 by 8 sheets. I just need to figure out the most efficient layout so I'm not wasting wood. It doesn't look like there's really going to be a good way to do this and get a maximum amount of wood on each sheet. I could probably get the 3 separate sections out of one sheet of plywood. I'm going to cut the second half of the rib in different places so the joints are not overlapping. Then I'm just going to cut some 6-inch blocks of 2 by 6s. And I'll put one of those like every 3 feet and make sure that it's over the seam. This way you're not trying to bend boards that don't want to be bent. I'm going to make sure I have one block at the peak so that I have something to nail to the ridge board. I want to make sure I have a block under and over every seam. Then I'm just going to sandwich the whole thing together. Mmm, sandwich. Let's just move those out of the way. Now, after all these are glued and screwed together, I can stand them upright. That's almost 17 feet of clearance. Now I'm just going to put in a ridge board, and the ridge board will already be in place with the two end walls. Then I can put these ribs 2 feet on center on either side of the ridge board. Now I'm just going to put some blocking in between all the arches to hold everything together. Then I can put them up and down both sides. Now I'm going to try and build a dormer on the side of the arch for a window, and I'm not really sure how it's going to work. I have an idea in my mind, but I'm just making it up as I go along. First things first, I'll need a ridge board for the dormer. The dormer is also going to be arched, so I need to figure out the diameter for that. And that is going to be too big. I was thinking diameter, not radius. That looks a lot better. I think it should extend down to that lateral support. Then I can just copy that down to the other side. I'm thinking I could cut out one small section of one of the arches and it would still be structurally sound. That way I could have a window that's almost 4 feet wide. On second thought, I think the window should be centered between two of the ribs and it will be 2 feet wide. That will still let in plenty of light. So this white box is a representation of where the window will go. I'm not sure why I use slats for the exterior siding, but that's not going to work. I think I'll end up just using plywood. Now I need to figure out how to attach the dormer to the main structure. So this is the frame that the window is going to attach to, and it's sticking out a little bit far, so I'm going to move it back. Now I'm just going to put a sheet of plywood over the front face of this dormer. And I can cut out the hole for the window and trim it down to size. Now I'm just going to install a custom window. And I'll have to put a smaller piece of plywood on the peak of the dormer. Now I can trim the plywood around the edges of the dormer to reflect the same curve. Now I'm just going to unhide the pieces that I hid earlier. And I'm going to copy those pieces back on the outside of the dormer. Then I can trim those along the outside of the cabin arches. I think if I have 3 windows on each side, that will bring in a lot of light.